I mean, I'm doing great. Well, as well as I can be, I suppose. But hey, you know what? Last week was a wonderful viewing experience of UWS. Lots of fun stuff, lots of fun results I know we're going to talk about. Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing right now.
Megan, how are you?
I'm good. I'm on the coffee this morning. I'm a little bit tired, but you know what? There's only one thing that I want to wake up for, and that's to talk soccer, and I'm ready for it. So great to be
Surprise.
here.
Surprise is not a cup of tea, perhaps. But hey, it's all good. No
Absolutely.
Katie today. Katie is fulfilling her obligations and duties in San Antonio with ESPN. Big timing us apparently, even though we're the bigger of the timing. So it's okay. It's okay. Hey guys, lots to talk about. We are in that moment of time where power rankings. We got to make some official power rankings this week.
Yeah.
I've kind of been lax on it, and so I want your guys' take on the UWS's power rankings from this week. We have gotten a couple of complaints because some teams feel they were left out. Yes, Kaylor is one of them, but we actually had a team who was not happy because they were left out, even though they are a very solid team. But we also have to remember we take into account who they're playing and how strong their conference is. But Megan, we'll start with you. What surprised you, or what has you excited about those power rankings?
Okay, what surprised me is that we've got Lancaster at 2 and Coppermine at 3, just because they're in the same division. So I feel like it's it almost is as if we're saying in that power ranking that's the best division because they're 2 and 3. That's what stood out to me. Foothills at 1, 100% agree with. I don't think anybody's complaining. KC Courage at 4, yeah, go with that. FC Austin Elite, go with that. New England Mutiny, that one I think could have been up for potential debate, but for me, that conference or division is so close that I also see why that they're there too.
Okay, okay,
That's my take.
fair
Kayla, what about
enough.
you?
The biggest one for me was the KC Courage. I didn't mind the two teams from the same division, but in my mind, just what I've been watching, all the stats and all the results, and just kind of how tough to me the division, or at least the top of the division, has been. I thought KC Courage has been the second best team all year long. I thought having them down at 4 was a little bit disrespectful. It just in my opinion. I mean, obviously Foothills number 1, they've been just absolutely massacring everywhere they go. They look like an unbeatable force, which we'll see. But to me, I think Casey Courage is right there. So I don't
For
know. I
me,
thought 4 was low.
KC Courage back on, I just pulled it up, the 22nd of May lost to Side FC. And I think that is sticking with them because when you look at the table, Side FC is that number 5 in the standings right now in that Heartland division. That's not a team you would expect the Courage to lose to. Again, testament to Side FC, testament to the Heartland division because it's extremely competitive. But for me, that result is what's keeping them from being in that upper half.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things that, obviously any given Saturday or any given Friday, Sunday, whatever day we play, it's any given day, anybody can win. But like you mentioned as well, this Heartland division is really freaking competitive. It's not like you have two teams who are running away with it at the top, or, even Calgary Foothills, who, I mean, they're running away within their division now. Not to say that Blue Heat are a bad team. Obviously, they're not. But I think for as competitive as that division has been, I think for them to be as low as 4, yeah, their loss came to someone against who's someone in 5th. But I think Side FC in another division would also be much higher than 5th.
Well, in terms of the way it sets up and it shakes out, right? We look at Lancaster, we look at Coppermine. They haven't played each other yet, but they've played in a division where their games have been close. Yeah, there's been a couple where it got a little squirrely, but it's been a very competitive division. So that's why the ranking, I think, ends up as 2 and 3. Foothills, obviously, beasting out west. They're just making it happen. They're playing gritty soccer and they're making waves. If you look at everybody else as it relates to it, the Mutiny, look, they got CT Fusion on their heels. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then in the South, you could have argued for Atlanta Panthers, but again, it comes down to the idea of who have they played. And the rankings could have had a real big shakeup last night with FC Austin Elite and the Athenians, but they drew 0-0. And so that, I think, is it's different. I'm trying to figure out, watched that match last night, courtesy of the Athenian stream. And I don't know, was Jose Mourinho coaching FC Austin Elite last night? They were very defensive minded. They were not pushing like you normally see, and it kind of frustrated the Athenians. You could tell that they were a little frustrated by the way the game was going and did not turn out into the result I think that they had planned for when they set themselves out to Austin to play that match. But hey, you play with what you're given, and you do what you can with the conditions and everything else, and you play the game the way it's supposed to be played. But hats off to Austin Elite for holding that line and drawing and staying on top of the division. So we'll see what happens these next few weeks, though.
I think I kind of mentioned that at the end of the last episode because I mean, Katie was very bullish in, the Athenians for obvious reasons, but
can't have that hometown bias here.
None whatsoever. But I even mentioned, though, I mean, Austin Elite has been dominating. If you watch their matches, they're dominating every single match while scoring half of the goals while letting in even less than Athenians. I don't think last night was shocking to me in the way that they were playing. They've been kind of playing that way all year long. They've obviously can score goals. It's not like they don't have the ability to, but if you're Austin Elite, all you have to do is walk out there with a draw, and you're on top of the standings with the game in hand. If that's all you have to do, sometimes that's all you have to do.
Right.
Well,
and
that's
if
all they
there's
had to
going to
do.
be one team that would shut down the Athenians' attack, it was going to be Austin. Like you say, Kayla, I think knowing everything that was at stake in that game, they executed a game plan. They had one job. Don't let the Athenians score. These Athenians who have scored 25 goals so far this season, all you need to do is not let them score, and we stay top of the table. And they executed, and yeah, that's worth a lot.
I'm trying to find where they might slip up, though. You have this match, and maybe they put all their eggs in that basket. But if you look at their last few matches, they have 2 more matches left. They have the Runners of San Antonio, and they have Central Texas. So they've got 2 matches they've got to be able to take points from. They can't afford to drop any points here on out because the Athenians have Central Texas, and then they have Luxoria next Friday. So they play Sunday, and they play next Friday. Their season's done. But let's talk a little bit about the playoff structure so everybody's on the same page as it relates to the playoff structure. Out West is an automatic bid. The West gets an automatic bid with Foothills right now. So Foothills is the representative for West. And then in the Central, you have Corktown, KC Courage, and the Mustangs. Now, if you look at the way this sets up, we would have joining as the 4th team, because it's hard to play a playoff with 3 teams. You could potentially be seeing one more team coming out of the Heartland division, the 2nd place Heartland team, potentially participating in the playoff structure. So you would be looking right now at either Gretna, Wichita, or Nebraska, all sitting at 13 points. But if you then go to the wonderful world of Twitter and you see the tweet that was put out by UWS Weekly, it's based on head-to-head record in league points or league games, head-to-head goal differential between the teams, total wins, and then goal difference in league games. So goal difference isn't going to play a big part there. Total wins is not going to play a big part there. It's going to come down to head-to-head record based on total points in the league, and then head-to-head goal difference between those teams. So we'll see what happens out west or out in the Heartland division. But right now, Gretna is that team to be reckoning with on that last playoff spot. The other playoff spot that is up for grabs comes out of the East Conference, but that's going to be through New England, and that means the CT Fusion. You're telling me there's a chance. So the CT Fusion, if you guys recall, we had them not participating at anything because they had started off so slow. But guess what? They're 2nd in the New England division, 15 goal differential, 17 points after playing 9 games. They have 1 left. So that will be interesting to see. Can they hold off the Scorpions, who are trying to make a push, but they have 3 losses in the division. So lots to play for these next few weeks as it relates to the summer of soccer and potential playoffs. And then out in the South Division, you have right now Panthers, Elite are the 2 teams that are looking to play each other for that possible Final 4 position. So, hey, we'll see what happens. It's summer of soccer. Weirder things that happen.
Yeah, and I think we need to talk about CT Fusion just for a little bit, because they did this last season where they were kind of like a slow burner, just like sliding through the season, getting some results here and there, but not really catching the attention of us last year until right down at the end. And then they're doing it again this year. I mean, it's going to be insane if they go to the playoffs, get a result, and end up back at the national championship. I mean, what a story that will be.
That is a very veteran team, though, and so you just don't know what you're going to get, right? We thought last year, we were like, wow, there's no way. And what did they do? They ended up in the final against Blue Heat, and so we'll definitely see. Kayla, you weren't around for that last year, but you probably paid a little bit of attention to the results. But what was your take on the end of the season as it related to CT Fusion?
Well, I mean, kind of like you said, this sort of happened last year. I mean, in a weird way, I mean, kind of going back to the last 2 weeks with Megan, shock or no shock, I'm not shocked. I mean, it's one of those things that they just seem to do the dang thing. And it's one of those, it's almost frustrating at this point, because now 2 years in a row they've done it. And it's like, well, why can't you do this at the beginning of the year? I'm more or less frustrated with them at this point. Like, if so, you could do this all along. Why haven't you? But yeah, I mean, if they can sneak on in, that this is a team that I don't think anybody would want to play right now.
I don't know about that. I think anybody would be willing to play anybody at this point. Let's go. Let's get a game in and see what we can do. Right,
I mean,
Megan?
that 3-3 result against CT Rush was a shock to me. I know it's a Connecticut kind of rivalry derby type game, but I was expecting the Fusion to get 3 points there. And so, yeah, it's those random games where they just do things that you don't really foresee happening that makes you think, if I was an opposite, like if I was going up against them, I would fancy my chances, but I would also have in the back of my head, like you say, Kayla, like they can do it. They've been there. They've got vast experience of playing in high pressure matches and coming out with the right results. So yeah, they're a team to watch, that's for sure. But they do have a kind of a funky story getting to them places.
Well, we'll see. Tori Sousa is determined to bring that team back to the finals. We'll see what happens as we get forward in the summer of soccer. Listen, last week in match day 7, lots to discuss, lots to think about. Couple of matches that got sideways, couple of matches. Hey, Arkansas versus Arkansas. Newsflash, one team won. That was the Wolves, 1-0 over the Comets. Good win. It was their first win in the UWS, and they have some bragging rights in the state of Arkansas now. Melissa Rios scored a decisive goal, kept the Comets off the scoreboard. Hey, that's a start. Anytime you can get a 1-0 win, that's a good W if you ask me. But Megan, what game had your attention last week from match day 7 that you were excited about?
Yeah, I mean, I was over in that Heartland Division 2. Am I here? Am I here?
No, you're good. We got you.
Okay.
You're here.
Yeah, I was over in that Heartland Division 2. I previewed this game on last week's show, and now I'm going to recap it because I was so excited for it, and it was honestly epic. And it was KC Courage 3, FC Wichita 1. Now, going into this game, both teams needed the win, but it was KC Courage who came out on top. There was just so much on the line in this game. And from my perspective, as I was sitting there ready for it to start, I was thinking, whoever's going to score the opening goal just has such an advantage in this. And it proved to be correct, because in the 21st minute, KC Courage took a 1-0 lead as Rafiatu Al-Hassan found the back of the net of Courtney Klassen's corner. And then 5 minutes later, they doubled that lead. Emily Key scored a banger, might I add, from the top of the box after combining with Al-Hassan to make it 2-0. And so within the space of like 5 minutes, the score had went from 0-0 to 2-0, and that's tough. FC Wichita conceding 2 goals in quick succession. That's an uphill battle. And at halftime, the scoreline was 2-0 to Courage. And, Jonathan, as you say, 2-0 is not always the most comfortable scoreline. But then in the second half, in the 68th minute, Klaassen struck from range and provided the Courage with some cushioning, and the score became 3-0. And this was a bit of a shock to me. I did not foresee one team going up by this many goals in a battle between KC Courage and FC Wichita. But FC Wichita didn't go down without a fight. They continued to battle and tacked on a consolation goal with 10 minutes remaining as Abril Lucio's volley from a long ball forwards sailed into the back of the net. But it just wasn't enough to fluster the Courage. They had done the work, they'd taken care of business, and they went away with all 3 points.
All 3 points, indeed. And hey, look, when you can go in and you can get 3, obviously it's a game changer. And to do so the way they've done it as of late, look, the Courage have turned it on. There's a fire burning. I don't know what Candace and Wendy have had a conversation with each other about, but those ladies are playing extremely good soccer right now, and the way they've played and been able to hold themselves has been pretty good. And I can't wait to see what happens the rest of the way as they continue to kind of punch their ticket to the finals or playoffs for that matter.
Yeah, they're such a fun team to watch. If you haven't watched them so far this season, seriously watch them. The way they move the ball, the tight combinations that they can make, they just have such great awareness of where each other are on the field, and it's super fun to watch. So definitely check them out.
Second best team.
Wow, that is bold. That's a bold statement.
Why would I not make bold statements? We're here for hot takes occasionally. Come on.
Occasionally. Well, I'll say this: they did what they needed to do with the 5-0 win over Arkansas Comets. They've essentially punched their ticket. Happy belated birthday to Candace, by the way, their associate head coach over at Courage. I know she's been out and had a little sash. There's a little Instagram post of her with a party sash and her doing some dance moves in her seat on the Courage Instagram page. But hey, happy belated birthday, Candace, and they will be representing. Look, the division, the Heartland division, wraps up this weekend. Nothing of last night's win for Gretna obviously was big, 2-1 win over Nebraska. Today, Wichita has an opportunity against Arkansas. This is an important matchup today, and I'm sorry, I know, Kayla, we haven't talked about your roundup yet, but this is an important matchup because of the potential that it creates for goal differential for Wichita. We'll see what happens. They needed Gretna to drop points last night. They didn't, so now it's in the hands of Wichita to kind of promote themselves a little bit. Kayla, what match had you in match day 7, had you excited about?
I think throughout this year, I don't think it's been a secret that I've been just a massive fanboy of Paisley Athletic. They have I love Paisley Athletic. They've been so close, so many times, and they just never seem to get it over the line. And they go out and they're playing New Jersey Copa, where they were sitting one spot above them. So it was supposed to be a close match. And Paisley goes out and gets a 2-0 lead, where I'm excited. I'm like, finally, the breakthrough. Here we go. And they lose it. They lose the lead. It is 2-2. They are going into added time, where I am just gutted for the ladies because I'm thinking, you had it and it's gone. I just want you to get that second win. Please get that second win. And in added time, just late match hero. We get one with the weak foot, 3-2 win for Paisley Athletic. And I was buzzing. I was so happy for them. It's because they've been so close all year long. And when you blow a 2-0 lead, like you said, most dangerous scoreline in footy, they lost it and they managed to get it back. The table looks a little bit better now. Both they're tied with New Jersey Copa on, 6 points, but this is not a 6-point team. they are so much better than that. They've just been so close to squeaking out more results. So that was the one that caught my eye.
It is a good result, and they have battled. They've done well. They've been on the wrong side of a couple squirrely score lines, but for the most part, Paisley, look, the way they promote the team, the way they promote the game for women, everything they're doing in their community with their initiatives. If you follow them on social media, if you don't follow them on social media, let me tell you right now, you need to follow them on social media to see what's happening, because some of the things they're doing are just amazing. Working with Gotham, working with the local charities and organizations to kind of push the game even further there in Soccer Town. Paisley's done a really good job. But look, I'm going to speak on this, and this is where I am with Coppermine. Look, it is very difficult to come up from the second division and have an impact. Look at the English Premier League. You know, Watford comes up and then goes back down. Sorry, just giving you a bad time.
We stayed up a good while, and then right now we're in turmoil. We did come up and we're going back down, but we'll be back.
Better than Derby.
We just need a coach to remain a coach for longer than a few months.
Well, that's the magic of Roy Ball, baby.
So if you look at Coppermine, look, they've come in and they've played well. They have not lost. They have not drawn. They have 10 goals differential positive. Look, you anytime you're able to do that coming from, the second division, we see teams that just start and they struggle. And so maybe this is a wake-up call to every team that wants to jump into the UWS. Start in League 2. Start in League 2. Work your way up. Pro Rel, it's a thing. And it's not a bad thing. Does it mean that you're not going to make an opportunity? No, you just have to seize that opportunity. And Coppermine has done that by not losing and to show what they have been doing, and they've been doing it really well. I don't know what you guys think, but that's why they are where they are. Could they be better than Lancaster? We don't know. We won't know until the last couple of days of the season when they play each other back to back. So we'll see what happens there, right? Anybody on that take with me, or is everybody just looking at me like I'm the crazy guy, which kind of am?
No, I totally agree with you. This Lancaster Coppermine matchup is going to be insane. And it's also really interesting because, Caleb, back when you're saying that KC Courage are second best team, I'm just wondering, like, what do Lancaster and Coppermine think of that? Because, they'll be saying, well, we have this perfect record. Like, we have every right to be where we are in those power rankings. And so, yeah, it's crazy. And then, again, whoever comes out of that Mid-Atlantic division, whether it be Lancaster or Coppermine, when we get to see them playing that cross competition, it's just going to be so interesting, because then it really allows us to see how these leagues, like how these divisions compare. And yeah, oh my gosh, playoffs, let's do it.
The crazy thing is the last week, Coppermine plays every other day. They play Wednesday, they play Friday, they play Sunday. They play Keystone on Wednesday, Lancaster Friday, Lancaster on Sunday. They have, if they can make it out and just get, Wednesday they'll be settled. They haven't played since this past weekend. Their last matchup, actually, they haven't played since June 25th, so they'll be well rested for Wednesday against Keystone. But then Friday they have to show up. If they can steal a point Friday and steal a point Sunday, I'm okay with that. They won't make the playoffs, but I'm okay with it. I'm interested to see, though, what they do Wednesday, how they prepare for that matchup against Keystone, and do they put all of their eggs in the basket of Friday and Sunday and just say, we are going for broke? And are they going to come out to do everything they can in order to maintain an opportunity to represent their division in the playoffs? Sorry, my dog's just running into walls, apparently. Can't deal with them. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that idea. What do you guys think?
I mean, look, I'm so beyond impressed with what they've done after, coming up and getting promoted. And I know for us, we're seeing this as a season where not only have they gotten their footing, they have been sprinting. And, like you said, as someone who's a neutral observer, yeah, them just getting points along the way is not a bad result. But for them, they want to make these playoffs. It's an expectation. You don't in this league, you don't just get promoted and say, well, let's hope we stay up. You get promoted and say, well, dang it, let's win it again. Let's run it back because we've done it before. Let's do it again. So I don't know. I don't even think the idea of let's get points along the way has even crossed their mind. I think they are going for 9 points, 3 days. Who cares if it's every other day? We're going to win the dang thing. That's what we do.
I mean, that schedule is brutal, but just taking a look at their roster, I do see them with depth to be able to manage those 3 games. And I definitely think that's going to be something that they've taken into consideration. When we make our schedule, we prefer that later start so we can get our girls together, we can get them prepped, we can get that chemistry going before we enter league play. And we'll take that condensed schedule right at the end because we believe we have the depth for it. And, going up against Keystone, that in between game is going to be potentially the opportunity to get more squad rotation because I think they'll foresee themselves getting the 3 points no matter who's on the field. But Mid-Atlantic Division is another one of those divisions where anything can happen, and every game you have to go out and get 3 points because if you drop them against Keystone, that's crucial. You need them there too.
Does Wednesday have more meaning in that it's an opportunity to gear up or to warm up for Lancaster?
I don't think anybody will go into a game thinking it's a warm-up. I think that would be, as a player, from my perspective, that would be a bad mentality to have just because I just think that you might not perform and be at the intensity that you need to be at. So I'm going to go no.
Kayla, anything to add to that? No.
Nah, she nailed it. Yeah, there's not much I can add on that one.
Fair enough. All right, well, listen, match day 7 is done. We move over to match day 8. Lots to discuss, lots to think about, lots to preview. Kayla, we know you're short on time. What match has you ready for today?
For me, I mean, it's a battle for Canada. I know that Calgary is flying high, but be a little bit careful. Fly too close to the sun. We know what happens, especially when you're dealing with the Canadian Derby. They're going against Impact, which they've had a decent year. It's obviously one they're probably a little bit disappointed by, but we've seen Impact go out and, I mean, they beat Arizona, a team that I rate pretty highly, 6-1. They have the ability to score goals. They have the ability to keep high-flying offenses from scoring. This is a match that I don't think necessarily Calgary is going to lose. But, hey, if you're a UWS fan and you want to keep an eye on some results, I think that Impact are going to push Calgary to the very end. This seems like one of those matches that Calgary, maybe they're thinking, well, we're already in. We don't have to worry about it. And Impact is like, we have nothing to lose. We might as well go try to win the dang thing. So I think this is going to be a fun one for the neutrals.
Yeah, Canada, this is a derby. This is an opportunity. And look, it's kind of a little salt in the wound because if you look on Twitter the other day, Foothills WFC, at Foothills WFC, on Canada Day, put down, what a great day to celebrate all things Canadian. Presenting your 2022 at UWS Soccer West Conference champions. And they put a little display there. Add a little bit of fuel to fire. Like, does Impact want to come in now and spoil your party of sorts? What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. 100%. Impact are excited for this. It's one of those matches where they kind of have nothing to lose. Like, we've put them at number 1 in the power rankings. If you lose to them, no shame. That's fine. But again, like Kayla says, they have capabilities to score goals. Calgary has like they have conceded. They're not invincible. So it's going to be a really, really exciting matchup. And yeah, if you're out there in Canada and you can actually get to this match, this is top quality soccer. Both these teams are just phenomenal. They're so fun to watch. Get out there, enjoy the atmosphere, promote the game. Yeah, Impact, nothing to lose. So yeah, I totally agree with Caleb previewing this one because we'll see.
Al Classica, as it is rightfully named. Look, you go back to the beginning of the season, back on, when was that? May 28th. It was a Saturday at 4 p.m. Calgary 5, Impact 2. So there's a little bit of probably just scorn from Impact, and maybe they want to come back and win this one, also to ruin kind of the parade that we've seen, and that's going to take place on Sunday, Al Classica, as it is known in Canada. So we'll see. It will be a fun one to watch, that is for sure. Megan, what matchup has you ready for some tea today?
So for me, it's going to be up in the Penn New York division because this division is pretty wild. Like, these teams are solid. And this weekend, we have the pleasure of seeing first place FC Buffalo travel to second place Erie Commodores. This matchup is huge. It's kicking off this afternoon at 4 o'clock in Erie, Pennsylvania. If you could go, because this is going to be insane. Erie could take top of the division with 3 points. But Buffalo are not going to go down without a fight. They want to remain top of this division. So, yeah, this is going to be a good one. Heading into this game, the hosts, Erie, have not lost a game. Buffalo has recorded a loss. Early on in June, they actually lost to the Lancers. So there's the record going into it. But Erie has posted 3 draws this season and conceded 12 goals, whereas Buffalo have only conceded 5. So in order to win this one, Erie really needs to tighten up on that defense, in my opinion. Buffalo has a lot of attacking talent. And for me, this game is going to be a high-scoring one. I kind of see this going in the classic Penn New York fashion of like a 3-2 game. I feel like every game in this division is close, and this one is going to be another close one for me. Well, and the two teams also, just to add, they have already played this season way back at the start. And yeah, it was a 2-2 draw as well. So they're going to be trying to see if somebody can steal all 3 points this time.
We actually had Nick on for that show when previewing it, but then it got pushed back to Tuesday. It was a Saturday matchup, and it got pushed back to a Tuesday. So
that Lightning.
The Lightning, gosh, it struck them. It's not just in Florida where it happens for FC Unity. But hey, so I think the big thing there is when you look at this matchup, and this matchup has an opportunity to change the vision of the playoffs. Erie just has to go out and win. They've drawn. Look, again, it goes back to your head-to-head record. If you can beat them, then you're set. You just can't lose. And they only, after this, they have Buffalo today. Then they have Friday, Berlin, and next Sunday, Rochester, who could play spoiler. So we'll see. Buffalo has one game after this. So that's next Saturday when they play Hotspurs. So we'll see what happens. It's an interesting way to go about it. Look, I can say this, and FC Berlin might be the spoiler because they can mess up a lot of people's opportunities. Yes, they lost last weekend 2-0, but they've got 2 games this upcoming week. They play Tuesday against Rochester, and they play Friday against Erie. So they can play spoiler, but they can also be Buffalo's best friend if that could happen, and dependent on the draw today. So we'll keep our eyes and ears on those matchups as we get ready for match day 7 here of the Summer of Soccer in UWS. Taylor, Megan, any other matchup that has you ready today, or are we just? Oh,
this
Taylor's
one
got one.
This isn't even really a matchup, but I do want to just kind of throw out Rochester there a little bit. I mean, they are sitting right underneath the wings of Erie and FC Buffalo with the game in hand. If they were to win that game in hand, they could possibly go tied on points with FC Buffalo. This is a team that's...
Oh, remember, they beat Buffalo too, so they own they own that one loss that Buffalo has.
So they're a sneaky team that I feel like aren't getting a lot of recognition. I know I'm excited about this Buffalo Area Commodores match for obvious reasons, but right now that hey, Rochester is underneath them thinking, like they are licking their chops because they have a chance to do something. What would be the best result here for them, though? I mean, you can't really root for a draw because that gives Buffalo a point, even though they still have a game in hand. But because even if Erie gets a win, Erie goes top of the table. If you're Rochester, what are you wanting?
Well, Rochester. Sorry, Megan. I know you have something. I'll put this out real quick. So Rochester played May 28th. They lost 4-0 to Buffalo. A couple days later, 2-0. They beat Buffalo. So on goal differential, they're out if Buffalo is to trump them on the table. Buffalo would have to lose today in order for there to potentially be an opportunity. So with the 2 losses, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. This Lancers team is extremely interesting, and they play this afternoon against the Hotspurs. And I almost previewed this game because it's going to be a really, really awesome one. This Penn New York division is just so entertaining. This is a Lancers team going against the bottom of the table Hotspurs, but I still fully believe that despite the Hotspurs not having a win to their name, that they could potentially pull out a win in any game that they play in, because they have the capabilities, they have the attacking capacities to put goals in the back of the net. And so the Lancers Pittsburgh Hotspur game this afternoon at 2 p.m. is also another matchup in this New York division that is going to be a great one to watch too.
I think every matchup today is going to be great if you look at the way it is and the way things have turned out. There's a couple of games where I don't know if we want to tune in, but because we probably already know what the scoreline is going to be. I think one of the intriguing matchups is going to be at what happens with the Wichita Wolves matchup today, 3 p.m. Central Time at Stryker Sports Complex, Wichita, Kansas. It's going to be an interesting way to see how Wichita rebounds. Gosh, I can't even talk today. As they get ready for this weekend, but that's another matchup. And then Sporting Nebraska and Gretna, that happened last night. We know the result there. So lots to talk about. The one matchup that does have my attention is tomorrow. It is Corktown Hawks and Nationals FC. This matchup is huge because, look, Hawks are first place, Nationals are second place in that Great Lake division, and they need a win. They definitely need a win in that division. Nationals have only lost one matchup. They've got one tie, though, so they need to come out and get some points from this matchup. Corktown obviously wants to win out and do the thing, but if you're paying attention and you're a soccer fan, you're hoping for just madness on this last day. We talk about March Madness. Well, why can't we have July Madness when it comes to some of these divisions and the way it works out for this conference? This is a very big game. These are the last 2 matchups for them. This is actually the last matchup for the conference, so Corktown should go in just guns blazing. July 3rd to tomorrow is that matchup, so we'll see what happens.
And in this game, if Nationals win, does that put them in contention to be in that 4th playoff spot?
Well, they lost 2-1. No, so for the 4th playoff spot, if it's I believe the Heartland Division owns that 4th point or that 4th team. Okay. Because of the number of teams in that division.
Okay. That makes sense. I feel that Nationals FC, no matter the result today, are going to kind of be thinking next year, like, we have to own this Great Lakes division, because at the start of the season, I specifically remember having a conversation with Katie, and she was like, you got to check out the Nationals roster. Like, this is a big club. Like, they've got talented players. They're going to be fun to watch, and they are fun to watch, but I feel that they are almost thinking we've underperformed this year, and so that's going to be an interesting one to see how they bounce back for next season.
Ooh, you said they underperformed.
Potentially. I think that they would have been going into this season knowing their roster to be making playoffs.
It is a pretty stacked roster as I look at it. and they have played well. That one loss to Corktown, 2-1, June 5th. That was a huge loss. Not that it was a bad loss. It wasn't sideways. It was 2-1. Look, Nationals in their first year of UWS have done very well of playing. That's a conference where you have two teams that have played pretty good soccer in Corktown and Nationals.
I want to compare this one to, it's the Mustangs and St. Louis Scott Gallagher, just in the Great Lakes, where both those two teams are so solid and they kind of dominate the league. But then when they go up against each other, it's like whoever gets that first win then ends up taking it all. And so it looks like Nationals and St. Louis Scott Gallagher have like underperformed because the talent in their roster and like going into the season, they would want to secure that playoff spot, and then one result throws them off, you know?
Well, back May 20th, Mustangs, St. Louis Scott Gallagher, 2-1 Mustangs. And then they come back June 18th and they draw 1-1. Now, if you put those teams together the rest of the season, you've got a very competitive, same thing with Nationals and Corktown. You put them together every game and you're gonna have a fight. It's gonna go one way or the other, any opportunity. But with some of these other matches, I look at Scott Gallagher, I go back to Scott Gallagher's 20-0 win that they had, right? There's just those matchups aren't indicative of the team. It definitely doesn't give them an opportunity. I mean, goal differential, 53 goal differential, 40 goal differential. Like at some point, like we got to figure it out. And those two teams sitting at the top. Same thing for Corktown. Obviously, it's not as big as those two, but Corktown again gonna punch their ticket to the playoffs with a win tomorrow, and then it will come down to the Mustangs of Chicago taking their opportunity and seizing that and playing for a playoff spot for the national championship, which will take place starting July 23rd at can't tell you yet.
I would like to see Nationals FC and St. Louis Scott Gallagher just play like a game. You know, let's just get one more competitive game in this summer of soccer. Let's do it. I'm here for it.
I think we could. I think we should see. There should be like Nationals versus Mustangs, Corktown versus St. Louis Scott Gallagher. Let's see what happens. That should be the playoff, right there. And then obviously winner plays Casey Courage.
Yeah.
I think that, then the two winners play. Like they have enough time. They have enough time as Kong jumps in my lap here. You're not a lap dog, dude. You're 75 pounds. So lots to think about, lots to dissect. The summer of soccer is only getting started. It's only getting hotter, and it's only going to get better. You two, anything else before we let you guys go today and enjoy the rest of your weekend and get everybody ready for Matchday 7 or Matchday 8? Everything on 11. Make sure you guys check it out. Lots of games to watch. Lots of soccer. Pay attention. It could change.
Yes, get active on social media. If you're at the games, post it, tag us on Instagram. We want to see all of your content. You know, we watch a lot of our games on 11 Sports because we can't be at all of them. And if you are at them, we want to see what atmosphere they have. I know so many teams have been getting food trucks, getting youth teams to come out. And like this whole atmosphere is just so awesome to promote the game of women's soccer across the country. So continue supporting, and thank you everybody for all of the support so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, specifically, yeah, tag me and stuff. I would love to see what's going on out there. I mean, it's so hard to keep up with every single result as it happens. Hey, keep me, if there's a player that we need to watch, tell us. If there's a player that, you know, isn't bagging all the goals, isn't getting all the assists, but is just a beauty to watch, let us know. I mean, yeah, I am totally in on that. Just tag everybody, make everybody aware. Let's grow the freaking game. Let's do the dang thing. I did kind of want to point out a little bit of the Atlanta Panthers. They were kind of mentioned before, and maybe a little bit of a situation of the division that they're in. FC Birmingham, a little bit disappointing. Obviously, the Pensacola situation, that is what it is. But for you to have 4 matches and walking away with a 21 goal differential, obviously we don't know the result from yesterday's match against the Fire, but that's a team that they're good. They're really freaking good. And yeah, So we'll see. We'll see when it comes to playoffs. How do they stack up? We are getting to the point of the year where power rankings don't matter anymore. I can scream about whichever team I want, but it won't matter anymore because they're going to be playing, babe, and it's going to be electric.
I have to make a shout out. I forgot somebody's birthday today. Happy birthday to Joe Johnstone, who is our producer. He's not on stage today. He's participating in birthday shenanigans. But happy birthday to Joe. We really appreciate everything he does to help grow the game of soccer, not just for the women, but for everybody in general from the grassroots. And hopefully he's enjoying his summer break because we know how difficult teaching PE can be at any time. So, Joe, happy birthday, my friend. We'll have to catch up. And you had a birthday, Megan. You had a birthday last week, yes?
Yeah,
You did. You got some, I don't even know what was that concoction that you got at Disneyland because you were wearing your It's My Birthday pin.
It's called a night blossom, and it's like pear and sour apple with like boba balls on it. It's a very interesting taste, but it's supposed to taste like Avatar Pandora. So, pretty cool.
I'm out. I'm officially out. Nope. Sour apple? What are you, 12?
It tasted like it should have alcohol in it, and they did have an alcoholic one, which I was not getting, and then going on roller coasters.
Oh, that's no fun.
Okay, I mean, sugary alcoholic drink in the middle of the summer in Florida and then getting on a roller coaster.
I'm in. Sign me up. Sign me up.
No shot.
No. A hazy IPA and an upside down twisty turn. I'm in. Let's go. Well, hey, listen, enjoy the weekend, everybody. Enjoy the summer of soccer. Match day 8. I keep saying match week 8, and I don't know what it is. I need the teleprompter. That's what I need. Me and Ron Burgundy. But hey, we hope everybody has a good weekend. Enjoy the holiday. Happy 4th to everybody. Be safe. If you get fireworks in your county, in your region, don't be trying to crimp Piccolo Pete's because that can go south real quick. So, hey, from us here at the UWS Weekly and the Kickoff Show, we wish everybody a great weekend and a fabulous week, match day 8, I almost did it again, of the Summer of Soccer in UWS. And we'll talk to you guys possibly Tuesday, recap show with John and Megan. Until then, peace out, peeps.
I'm a part of UWS because of the opportunity it provides women.
Because it provided me the competition and exposure I needed to get to where I am today.
Because financial transparency is important to me.
Because at its core and within its leadership, it is truly dedicated to the promotion of the women's game.
Because of the competitive pathway it provides female players and coaches.
Because it expands the pathway of our club and offers more opportunities for players to develop.
Because I too support women in sports.
Because of the people. I love competing at a high level with some awesome teammates and getting to compete against people around the country.
Because it provides female athletes with a much needed platform to remain in the game in a professional setting.
Because it's the best summer league in the whole country. There's no question about it.
Because of the commitment to diversity for the players, coaches, and administrators of the UWS.
Because I like the opportunity to compete at such a high level and the advancement of the women's game.
I am a part of UWS because I believe in its vision and its leadership.